now. It's been a while since I heard this song. Thank you, Brent.
It makes me think of our friendship, Tonya.
When I listened to it, I was like, yeah, it does. Oh my God, I go, this is the song. Every time I hear this song, I think of Brent.
It must be weird for you not to be hosting the space.
It is, but you know what? It's sometimes good to learn how to do that, to like let other people to take charge, you know?
Yes. And I'm super excited to be launching my new Twitter Spaces show, Inspirational Interviews. And this new show will be bringing on inspirational people who inspire me. And the very first episode is with Tonya Scholz.
Thank you, Brent. I so appreciate our friendship.
And I just want to congratulate Tonya on celebrating 12 years of social chats South Florida.
Yes, thank you. I always have to think about how fast time can go by. It's been 12 years. I just can't get over that. And I remember the day when I used to go and live stream. I just remember just taking my laptop off and live streaming, and people thought it was weird back then. So it's fun nowadays to look back on that.
Can you explain a little bit of your background, Tonya?
I would love to. Actually, one thing about me is I have a hard time talking about myself sometimes. I think maybe because of my background, the way I was raised, that as a woman you shouldn't be what they call it bragging about yourself. And but over the years, as I've learned to becoming more enlightened over the things that have happened to me in my life, that instead of feeling entitled and crying over bad things, I looked at each thing was an enlightenment and education in itself. So I try to practice empathy every day. As a young child, I never had that. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I don't know if I think you know everything, but I think this is recorded. So, and it's being live streamed on YouTube because I want to use this for your first episode so we can write a blog about it. So again, my name is Tonya Scholz. I was 8 years old when my family flew out of the last plane out of Vietnam. We left with the American soldiers. And I remember looking down at the time. I wasn't fearful. I was excited. It was crazy, actually. I remember going on this bus and all these people going crazy. And people I remember just walking up to this, I guess it was the embassy. It was a white fence, tall, fence, white. And it's this American soldier was checking paperwork, and my mom showed the paperwork, and we went in, and they wouldn't let my uncle, who was 16 at the time, go with my mom because they felt that he was old enough to stay to fight the war. And we couldn't do anything about it, so we had to leave. So my mom came to this country with 4 children. It was myself, my brother, my cousin, who's the same age, and my other cousin, who is a few years older than us. And I didn't have empathy for my mom when I was younger because I felt so entitled because, we had a really good life in Vietnam. My mother worked a lot. I wasn't really around her because of her job. She separated all 3 children. So I lived with my my aunt in Saigon. So I was really, I was raised by my aunt. I spent time with my mom. And so coming to America was really a huge change for us. We weren't used to, we didn't have cars or anything, but we had people driving us around and stuff. And so coming to America, we didn't quite get used to it. And we ended up going from Vietnam. We flew to Guam. From Guam, we stayed in this tent. I remember they put us all in these tents. We lived in this whole thing of tents with the Red Cross. And I just remember how I wasn't scared. I was just excited. We lived in a tent with this other family. We had these cots. I just always remember that. And I remember waking up the first day in this tent, and we didn't know anything. I remember we all got they told us we had to go get breakfast, so we had to stand in line, and I think it was the first time we had like scrambled eggs, and I thought the bread was cake because I wasn't used to it. I just there are different things about the American culture. Part of it, I was exposed to that in Vietnam because my mother worked for American government, and we had like we had a really good life back then too. And I have pictures of myself as a baby, as a child, actually like 2 or 3 years old, trying to pick up a bottle of Coca-Cola. So I have stuff like that. We had a Kenmore refrigerator and different things. But living in America, I was so shocked about different things. We weren't used to walking, and another thing is wearing shoes. We weren't really used to wearing shoes. We used to have slippers or some certain types of shoes, but we were never like, my mom didn't like us to get dirty, or so we never really walked too much around. We weren't allowed to play with other kids. So the culture shock was coming to America, where we were just around people. I wasn't really around people when I was a child. So I just remember the hardship, and meaning what my mom went through. She came here 30 something years old, and she was fearless. I don't think she even was allowed to even cry, to be sad, because she was by herself. So we were blessed because, my mom, we were sponsored eventually. It's kind of emotional for me, because I feel like to share the story with you, you have to understand where we came from and then where we went. So we went from living in a tent, then we live in these little, like a house barrack type of deal with some other family. Then we got sponsored. So the first time we got sponsored by this American family in Florida, and my mom went. I remember my mom goes, "Should we go to Paris? Because I was always told by my dad when he was alive that I was going to go to Paris, get my nose fixed, and all this stuff. Like France was like really an important factor for us. And when I was raised, it was like a big thing. We either learn French in school, so because I guess because the French was in Vietnam for like 100 years. So we decided, or Canada. It was Canada, France, or America. And my mom asked somebody, and she wanted the same weather as Vietnam, so they say Florida. So we got a sponsor from Florida, and I thought America is supposed to be like this. So we get picked up. They flew us in, and we got picked up by a helicopter. We landed in this private airport. We drove in this I always remember the smell of the brand new car, the station wagon. And this is in 1975 now. And it was like that smell. It would make me sick. I hated that smell. I always remember that smell of that brand new car. They took us, we stayed with them for like a month, and they were very wealthy. I mean, they thought my mom was like, it was too much for my mom. They were trying to get their friends to adopt us and everything. My mom's like, no, I'm keeping my kids. So they dropped us right smack into Central Florida. Because my mom didn't want to get her kids sponsored. And my mom, we stayed with them. They sponsored us, right? My mom would clean their house and clean the dog's cage because she felt, like she owed it to them for helping them. But they just assumed that she was going to be their maid or something. So they were trying to get all of us sponsored. And my mom was trying to get a job as their secretary to work for their company. And they didn't want that. They just wanted her to be their I don't know what it was, their maid or something. So my mom decided not to. So she left she had them drop her off. They gave her $300, got us a 1-room little apartment. It had snakes, and I remember snakes and frogs and all this crazy stuff. And I was so scared of sleep, going to sleep. And then I think that's where I started developing sleep issues, coming to this country, not knowing anything, not really understanding the language. I was excited about it. I wanted to assimilate, but I wanted to learn more about the culture. I wanted to be American, actually. And my mom didn't want that. So my mom worked. She went and got a job. And we were lucky enough. I adopted American grandparents, and we adopted them. They were like our first American grandparents who at the time, I didn't even think about it, but my grandfather worked for Ronald Reagan. He was the educational commissioner for him when Reagan was the governor. So if you listen to me talk sometime, because he's the one that really taught me a lot. He taught me he would teach me to understand English with him. He would give me quotes. The New Yorker was his way to teach me. He cut out this little quotes for me, like, empowering quotes. So I think that's what, like, brain, like at 8 years old, I would read all these, and that's how I would learn how to speak to them based on what I read. So my grandfather taught me a lot in communication and education, as far as different ways how to pronounce and talk. But my grandmother, on the other hand, she was, a beautiful redhead and so incredible. She taught me how to make pie. I know how to make quilts. I know how to sew. I can make my own clothes because of my grandmother. My grandmother taught me how to do all those things. And she said that, you want to be an independent woman, but also you need to learn all the different things that women need to know. So she taught me how to set the plates. She taught me how to do all the different things that I never even thought that, but I was always told that you got to marry well. I never told that, as long as you know how to cook, you know how to clean and do all this, you're going to find yourself a nice husband. You're going to have a good life, have a whole bunch of kids. And that's the way life should be. And I just wasn't about that, because I had two very influential people in my life that were just telling me differently, that I'm going to learn, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to, do whatever I wanted to be, and they wanted me to be a lawyer and all kind of stuff, So I was already primed to go what I wanted. Like they made me believe in myself. They empowered me. And I think that's where it started with me when I talk about empowerment and women empowerment, because at a young age, I was told that you can do whatever you want. Just go to school, go to work, do good things, but don't, to be safe with yourself. Okay. I think that's just what the word is. Feel safe and confidence in yourself. And, to say that to an 8-year-old at a young age, I don't, at the time I just wanted to grow up to be older. I just wanted to be on my own, because my mom didn't want us to be all Americanized. So I grew up in America, and in the house, I wasn't allowed to, I could do my homework, but I could not read anything out loud in English. So my mom, God bless her, I love her. I couldn't stand my mom as a child. Oh my gosh, everything I did was never good enough. But I didn't have empathy for her, because she was a single mom trying to raise us. I was feeling not appreciative of her, didn't like her. And so by the time I was 16 years old, I ended up getting married at 16. I lived with my parents, and I got to realize I lived with my parents. My mom got remarried again, but I lived with them for 8 years in America. And then I went on my own at 16. And at 16 years old, most people are like, "Oh, aren't you scared?" I married my high school sweetheart. I wasn't pregnant. I wasn't in that. My mom wanted me to be more Vietnamese. I even sang in a Vietnamese rock band. I mean, that's how much they wanted me to keep my culture. I did not appreciate what she was giving me. I thought it was, oh my God, I can't believe she's forcing me to do this. I wasn't really allowed to have friends over that much. My mom was just like, we were very private, and I wanted to be Americanized. And it was, we had our ups and downs, but I moved out at 16. I got married. I married my high school sweetheart, got divorced at 17, because my high school sweetheart came from a lot of money. He was his father founded Great American Book Fair, which was sold to Scholastic Publishing. His father was he also founded, which is the Sentinel Star, which is owned by Tribune now. He was the editor in chief. So he was raised in a different time. I was raised first generation, and his family sponsored a Vietnamese family over too. So my first husband and I divorced him, but we stayed friends. And so I moved away, and I went to college for I attempted to go to college. So I'm going to I tell this all the time, because when I tell people, I never finished high school, nor did I finish college. But I've been on my own since 16. I always had 2 or 3 jobs. At 16 years old, I wasn't like I had a job. You know what my job was at 16 years old? I worked at the Navy base. I was a cashier there first. And then when I moved back from college, I wasn't even 18 yet. I got a job as a military sales rep. And I actually went into the credit union and got them to give me a loan. I wasn't even 18 yet, to get a loan for my car, for my first car, because my mom wouldn't co-sign for me. She wouldn't even do anything for me. She was just like defiant that the fact that I had, I would defied her, and they were just waiting for me to fail. And I think that's what kept me going. And I also had like really strong morals in certain things where when I was raised, like karma was like a huge thing in my family. Buddhism was part of my upbringing from generation to generation. We were Buddhists. Coming to America, I wanted to be a Catholic. I want to be, like, because my grandparents were that, and I was going to get baptized, and my grandfather was going to have a fit. So I defied my family quite a bit at a young age. It took me a long time. Even when my second husband I got married to, I married a Navy guy. I just, who didn't have anything actually. I really supported him. I supported his mother. Because at the time, I was 19 years old. I was doing really well. I was a military sales rep. He was in the Navy. So I had the ability to go to college. Plus, I was working on the military base. At one time, I would go to Norfolk, Virginia. I had APIS, NEX, and Coast Guard and Army as this got the commissary. So I had like L'Oreal Cosmetic, had Diageo, Waterford. So I'd have like, I don't know, like 25 to 30 different lines that every month I would have to count and put the PO order in and get it approved. So at a young age, I learned all that about merchandising, which is very, very important to where I'm leading this story to you, to explain to you why when I look at certain things, I have a different keen eye for it, because I've always been in military sales until I was like 22, 23. Then, no, 22, because I was also, at the time, I got a job as an assistant manager, and then I became a store manager. So I was one of the youngest store manager and the place was called Simply Six. So I have management background, and again, no high school diploma or no college degree, because I did do both though. I experienced all that, but didn't accomplish any of that. But I worked, always had jobs. So by day, I would go to college really early in the morning. And then by 12 o'clock, I would go to the military base and worked as a merchandiser, because I had a lot of lines I had to count for. And then by 5 o'clock, I would go to the phone center where I worked. Back then, we didn't have, phone cards. We didn't have, and you got to realize I'm 54 now, so you got to realize that how much of an era that was. We had this thing called the phone center, which was AT&T. I think that was them. So the Navy guys would come and use the phone, and I'd get them a discount, and I would sit there and do homework. And it was the Navy base I was working at was where the nuclear power school it was called the NTC, where they trained the nuclear power Navy guys, so to learn how to work on the reactor and all the different things. So I was able to like learn a lot about the nuclear power generator because the guys were telling me, and I started reading up on it. So I learned a lot of different things, not besides me reading, but by also listening to people I meet along the way. I love hearing people's stories. They tell me what their experience is. So when I meet other people and someone tells me about their experience and where they're from, I'm able to share. And it's part of the art of the conversation. And there's another reason why I'm telling you this, because it's going to lead up to where I am today. Because the art of conversation, I've learned at a very young age, because I figure out that if you listen to people talk, you remember things about them, so that when you meet other people, you can relate to the other people. And that's where you can practice your empathy. And yet when you're young, you don't have no empathy. You feel entitled. There's entitlement. So as a young child, I learned entitlement, but then as I got older and as time went on, I learned empathy. And then one day, after my third husband, I've been married 3 times. I'm on my 4th now. I'm not a quitter. So after my third husband, I went on to, and I literally have all my time. I worked 3 jobs, 3 jobs. I just never thought that, I didn't believe in handouts. I never got a college loan. I didn't like, I never thought that I would never ask money from anybody. I just go get another job. I had my own apartment. So when I hear people tell me that, oh, I couldn't do this, this, and this because this, and I always try to have empathy for them, but it's more like, I feel like everyone is a problem solver. You just have to stop and just remember all the stories of all the different people you meet along the way. Because if you help those people in return one day, if you need them to help you, it's not a big deal if you ask them. And if you do need help, you should ask. So I've always asked for help. If there's something I didn't learn, I didn't know how to do, I asked for help. I looked for mentors. So who I am today is because of my mother, because of my grandmother, my grandfather, and all the mentors that I collected along the way, and the people I mentor myself. Because when you mentor other people, it's one thing because it keeps your skills sharp. Because if you learn something, and I can be a merchandiser, I can be a manager, I can be an entrepreneur, I can be like an ad agent, I can be military sales rep, I can do all that. But I can also teach people how to do that because I want to be mentor because people taught me how. I all the job skills I have right in my that I've done. If you look at my resume, you can be like, "What the heck? She's done a lot." Yeah, I've done a lot, but I had mentors who teach me how to be who I am today. So I always urge people to do that. So by the time that I got down here in South Florida, and I only came down here as just to be with another man that I thought I was supposed to be married to because he was a chiropractor, and I thought it would make my mom proud that I was going to marry a doctor chiropractor, but that didn't work out. But I ended up, really working hard. I didn't have a car. I didn't know anybody. I moved to South Florida. I lived in Lake Worth actually. Didn't know anybody, but I figured out the transit. I learned the tri-rail, the bus, all that stuff, right? And I was also a rep at the time. I was working for. I helped launch Polar Sports, and I'm also a luxury brand ambassador. So what they call it. You know, the fragrance model when you go buy fragrance. I'm the person who would jump out in front of you and try to get you to sample the perfume I'm doing. So So when I moved down here, the only job I had was a freelancing for Polar Sports, and usually, you got to have a car, but I didn't tell them I didn't have a car. I just figure out the transit system. But even though I made no money on some of the places they sent me to, like the Treasure Coast, it would take the amount of money I spend from the bus, the Tri-Rail, the Amtrak, the cab, and then again coming back. It I spent more money to get there than I made that day. But it didn't matter because I just showed that I was willing to work. So they booked me, and they kept booking me until I was like trying to look for a job. It was in Boca. I was in Bloomingdale selling Polar Sports, and all the managers of the whole they saw me do my stuff, and so the cosmetic manager at Saks like asked me, that like I went and interview. It took me 6 interviews for them to tell me how great Saks Fifth Avenue is, how beautiful and luxurious the brand was. And I'm from Old Town, we're like the redneck center. We don't know anything about Saks Fifth Avenue or Louis Vuitton back then, or Dolce Gabbana, or Gucci, or Michael Kors. But, I went and got a job at Saks Fifth Avenue. They hired me on the spot. I come from an education background of also working for Toshiba. I sold copiers, and I was one of the only woman rep. So I learned a lot out of that, of selling. Selling is a skill. Selling is a conversation. You don't sell by trying to forced to sell. People buy from people they trust and that friendly and are happy. So I think I'm just always happy in that sense. So I worked at Saks Fifth Avenue, and from there I worked so hard of where I was. And the girls weren't that nice, but eventually they kind of understood. I understood my communication skills. So, and that was it. And I tell people I've always worked. I've always worked. And when I was working at Saks, I started out as a salesperson, but I was a makeup artist by trade too. I became the makeup artist. I helped launch NARS Cosmetic, NARS. I became the Southeast trainer. I opened up all the Nordstrom, the Neiman Marcus, the Sephora. Oh my God, also Sephora in Atlanta. I opened that up for NARS Cosmetic. All the Belks, I opened all that for NARS Cosmetic. I thought that one day I did this because I wanted to have my own cosmetic line. I wanted to. I was in tight with Michael Kors. He would always like when he loves me doing his makeup, and Mary McFadden, Escada. I did all that stuff. The reason I'm telling you this is because what you start out in life to believe and what you're going to become, crazy shit happens. Things happen. You learn to diversify. You learn to go do something else. I got in a car accident, I almost died. Instead of me looking at myself saying, oh, I can never be a makeup artist again because I have nerve damages. I have 400 disc, fractured sternum. I got in a car accident with Madonna makeup artist. He was my international makeup artist. So when I became the trainer and I got in a car accident, I thought my life was over, and the doctor tried to get me to get disability. And I'm like, to hell, I'm going to get disability. We didn't get welfare growing up being poor in America. You think I'm going to get disability? No, I'm young. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get well. So I did. I went on, and I was blessed. My partner is took care of me. His family, his mother was my client. That's how we met, and they empowered me. this family empowered me to be fearless. And instead of trying to survive, you know, I thrive, I thrived. I did whatever I wanted. I learned a lot. I started my own marketing company at one time. It didn't work. I went on to work for the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, and then I started exhibit sales, like to call people in 2004 and to get them to exhibit an anti-aging conference with 3,000 doctor was not. They thought I was crazy, and I didn't even have a computer. They just wanted to see how well I do it. They just gave me a stack of paperwork that Dr. Ronald Klatz go, here, he went to this conference, call all these people on here and see if they want to come exhibit with us. So I used the old technique of Toshiba sales. If I can agree to everything your needs today, if I can make everything happen today, can you sign this contract? Hey, I sold a $3,500 deal, a 10 by 10 booth for 2,000 or 1,000. I lost the commission, but I got 300 exhibitors in 1 year, and I did what I was supposed to do. And when you are, sometimes one can be so ambitious that people don't like it because you're rocking the boat, but then people get competitive. So to make a long story short, by August of 2006, I literally had to start my own company. I was offered a lot of opportunities. I had one client that really helped me, but I think I went to a conference in August of 2006, right before I started my company. I got fired 3 times at a medical conference by my boss, who at the time I didn't realize that she was going through menopause, and so she looked at me like I guess she was afraid I was going to take her job or something. I don't know. She was mean to me. But the founders, the 2 doctors, didn't want me to leave. But I ended up leaving. I started my own company. It's called No Agent Inc. We started in August of 2006. Right after that, I wasn't scared. I had a nice retainer from my client. And the company is called Life Extension Foundation. If you want to go to lifeextension.com. At the time, I was delivering magazine to all the Starbucks. I had people working for me. And then I was like, social media, that's a new way of communicating. And I got a MySpace. And I remember having a meeting with all their people. And I said, I want you guys to come into Facebook. And everybody's like, no, it's social media. It's all these college kids. We're not going to be able to control what people are saying. So I was like, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put it in my name, not in my name, but I'll put it in Life Extension, but it's mine. And if something goes wrong, you can say that crazy person, whatever. So I went ahead and start Facebook, start Twitter. Instagram wasn't around yet. I just did what I did. I just kind of like learned a lot about it. I actually got kicked off of Facebook for being a bot. They thought it was a bot, but that's another story. But I feel that when you start giving yourself barriers, there's boundaries, right? We all have boundaries of certain things that we're going to say or do, but there's barriers. We have to learn to get out of our way. That's my problem. I always get in my way because I set my own, I'll get somewhere, then I never get there because I always get in my way. So that's how I started. You asked me how I got here. So that's how I got here. I started my company, got into social media, the late 2006, beginning 2007, got kicked off of Facebook for being a bot because I figured out the group pages and I found all the Life Extension people and I just started following them all, but I did it too fast. I was going so fast that the system thought I was a bot because I was like I was just really into it. And I got kicked off. So I wrote a blog. I should have shared it with you. It's called it's called Disabled at Facebook. That's the email. They disable you. They send you this email. It's from Disabled at Facebook. And I did this whole thing about addicted to technology, social media. Can we all be addicted to social media? I woke up one day and no longer able to talk to my friend. I feel like I'm going through withdrawal. It's more like a tongue in cheek being funny. So, but then I figured out, oh my God, I could just use another email and start another account. So I started another account. They realized who I was because they merged all my stuff together. But, and as you see, Facebook grew. I applied to be a developer. I built apps on there before anyone even did apps. I have API keys still that they want me to delete, but I won't. So I have a whole bunch of API keys, and I make games. I got most of my clients that way. I had a car dealership. I made a game out of that. I made a game out of everything. So Facebook has been an incredible, fun journey for me. But I like starting the system, but I don't do Facebook anymore. And that brings you back to here. And then, and like, and as for women in communication, I only became the president because I wanted to prove to my mom that, women communication has been around since 1909. We're the reason why women can vote in America. And I just felt like this is the group I wanted to be part of. I wanted to empower as many women to believe in all this stuff. So I became the president. Everyone left me, but through learning to like being the president and being there by myself, I got another board member to help me. But I learned how to make websites. I learned how to publish websites. I learned how to publish press releases. I mean, like better. I started doing it in 2007. So my press room is from 2007, but I started messing around with social media press releases. And I started like getting really involved in social media clubs, South Florida, and just sponsoring all the hackathons and women, because we had we made a lot of money in one of the fundraising that I did right before I became president. So we were able, the ability, and then I was able to like talk to people and get people to give things for free. But that's how I got women in communication. And now we're getting ready to go into Web 3, because Web 2 was in 2008 for us. And we were the first chapter to have a social media presence. So you asked me to tell me, that's my whole story in 40 minutes. It seems that way.
And how did social chats start, Tonya?
Well, social chats was kind of like I was trying to help someone out. They started a job. He had just lost his family, his kids, and his wife divorced them, and he was almost homeless. And the radio station, he was living down the street from this radio station, and he went there to apply for the job, and they told him that he can do commission sales, and he started talking about live streaming, and they said, yeah, but you got to bring in some sponsorship. So he's part of my social media club, South Florida, and I met him at a tweet up, and I just met him. I just felt like, and he was so sincere and so sad, and I just wanted to empower him. So I said, I'll tell you what, find out how much it is. I'll buy an hour a day, Monday through Friday. And at the time I was researching Twitter, and it was 1:00 was the busiest time on Twitter. So he told me it was $100 a week. I got my client, Life Extension, to sponsor it. They paid $100 a week. I was able to stream a show. I was able to feature a lot of people. I was doing a lot. And the radio station, it was great that summer. And to the radio station, just saw how many people were popping in. And because we were streaming on Facebook too, because I found an app, because I was streaming on Facebook since 2009. So at the time, when we started streaming on Facebook, it was like a big deal for people back then. And we were talking about Facebook this and Facebook that. And people were just laughing about it, and I was like documenting every single business I saw that says, follow us or like us or anything like that. So I promoted that. And really, social chat started out as something to help someone out. And it just continued on. And I started producing 5 different shows, have 5 different co-hosts, 5 different topics. Each co-hosts were incredible in that field. So I still talk to each one of them. We ended up streaming together until some of them till 2012. And then you met Debbie Ellickson. She was one of my social chats. She was my guest speaker this morning. So yeah, social chat started out just because I wanted to empower somebody. And then it turns out I started using.
And now I feel since social chats, you're all over the place. You're trying out you're in every social media platform, trying out which one is the best.
Here's the thing: information is free if you think about it. When you help other people. So just like in 2010, I met this oh my God, I freaking love her. She is the founder of Blogging Mamas. Now they have chapters everywhere. And she had an event, and I told her, don't worry, I will sponsor it. I will publish a press release for you. Women Communication will back you on this. And she went on to do great things. So, and we use social chats to promote it and to live stream it. So social chats and AWCSF went hand in hand. I really never made money off of those two platforms. So AWCSF, we never even charged for our education. We raised most of my time and money on promoting the nonprofits and helping the women who come to my events to feel empowered to start their own business, to blog, and to do all the different things that they want to do. And then I went further too. I pushed it. I told all the bloggers, I said, you guys need press credentials, because I got my press pass from the radio station. So, and it turns out the most powerful when it comes to digital media, as far as the voice, is the bloggers, the blogging mamas and the blogging papas. They're the ones that are the ones can form together and do great things, and they as a group. So, blogging mamas get sponsored by Nissan, Ford, and she has chapters everywhere. And it all started because she came to one of my event, told me her story, and I was like, "Do it, I'll help you." And so that the reason why I want people to understand this, it's not about how much money you're going to make. It's about the journey you're going to take and how well you travel. I made $10,000 a month before. I was on my way to making 15,000. I had a whole bunch of clients. I had an incredible ad agency. I had a product that most people couldn't understand. And I figured out how to run ads on Facebook to make a penny a click, a penny an impression. So I had that, but you know what? It didn't make me happy. It made me like tired. I wasn't having fun. I had 7 interns that I was paying to teach them. I was paying people for me to teach them to do a skills that they didn't even know anything. And so I kind of like realized more than ever. And then as time went on, I've learned a lot about empathy. And I can sit here and drive a brand new car, but you know what? I'm happy with my father-in-law's car. I'm happy because I don't find those materialistic things important anymore. I find more about the conversation, the journey, the people I surround myself with, and their happiness more important to me than it is for me having the best, having a party with a whole bunch of champagne with over 100 people drinking my moe and telling me how much they love me. But yet when my money or my limo breaks down, who's going to take the bus with me? I think that's what Oprah Winfrey said, right? So I have friends that will take a bus with me, go take a tri rail with me because our cars broke down or my car broke down. Those are the friendship you hang on to. The people that
I feel like I can find you in every place and in like social media and every setting like church and different and every Twitter space about every Twitter space or or every uh, thing you're there.
because you know why? I'm always looking for new people to talk to find what their story is. I always meet every single person I meet. I want to do a space for them. I want to get to know them because you never know. You never know what you learn from someone.
And one of Tanya's new endeavors is NFT for a cause. So connect with on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern. So connect with Tanya to if you have an NFT project where you give proceeds to a cause.
I'm also getting into film and music NFT too. This is my passion project. I'm like doing this because I met someone that's really like passionate about hosting a film festival on space. And I sponsor a film festival in Fort Lauderdale. It's called Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival. It's FLIF is what they call it. And so I say, let's do it. I have all the information that what we need. I have the filmmaker, but we want to like help bring young filmmaker, people who want to be a filmmaker, new filmmaker, and then bring them into the NFT also, because all that can be done on the blockchain. So, and then, inspiring people and empowering them at the same time. That's the key. And the reason I do it because people empowered me. It's my karma to empower other people.
And you've been able to meet some amazing friends on Twitter Spaces that you wouldn't if it hadn't been for Twitter Spaces.
Definitely, like it's Shannon. I met Shannon. I remember the day I met Shannon. I sat in her space. I remember the day I met Shannon. I was like, I want Shannon to sit. I want her to come be a panel discussion with us with my women communication about social audio. So she was one of my first panelists for social audio space hosts. And then I met Michael. We each have our own view, but we get along so great. And that's where I can tell you right now. Yeah, we all can have different ideas and different views, and also can get along and accept each other. So he knows I don't like to talk too much about religion in a sense, or too much about politics, and he's very mindful about it. I love him for that. And my new friend, Dr. M, I can't wait to do a health segment with him and you, Brent. And Kiki, oh my gosh, we've just got bonded so much in the last month, and everything that we're talking about. So and
It's the
Jacob
same with
too. Like,
it's the
hi, Jacob.
same with us, Tonya. We
Yep, and
talk
you, Brent.
we
And yes, Brent, especially you, Brent. Brent, you are the most. I talk about you all the time because how proud I am of you. You know, I told Brent you got to get a press credential, Brent, and he goes and gets one from this. So, and Brent, I tell Brent, I say practice tweeting. You know, live tweeting. Watch a show, watch a sports game, live tweet. So, Brent, tell us about that. You've been doing that too, right?
yes.
Now we're going to finish his landing page, his website, for the new year as his president. I'm buying him a domain. It'll all be in his name, you know, and those are the kind of stuff because I want to empower my friend, you know, and so he can do great things. And when he, you know, his success is my success. And that's how I feel for every person that I help. Your success is my success.
So what upcoming projects or projects that are on the go need to be completed to make you happy, Tonya?
I have my previous project was NFT music radio. I have a lot of file. I want to finish publishing the top 22 NFT musician to look out for in 2022 with 10-minute snippets of them playing and talking about their process. I'm trying to finish that up. I have a couple websites I got to finish. My main thing is education. So I'm obsessed with hemp. So I have this thing called Hemp Camp. I want to teach people all the different things about hemp, not just about CBD, but about building construction. That's my other project, and you know, going into Web3 with women in communication. So there's my other project, and then continue doing space.
And if you're interested in living longer, Tonya has all the resources about that and knows people in the in the age reversal network.
Yes, I help with the Age Reversal Network. And then there's a clinical study too. And if somebody wants, there's a whole telemedicine component that's being built right now. I help consult on that a little bit. I probably end up taking over some of the social media, but it's going to be very reasonable. It's like I think it's $100, but you have to like get all this blood work done to see where you're at. You know, because it's really important before you do any therapy. You have to get your blood work, talk to your doctor, and have them consult. You got to make sure you're in perfect shape before you go down the age reversal route. Because if your plumbing is not clean or healthy, you can't try to reverse aging without having it fixed that first. So I call it plumbing because it's kind of like, you know, when you abuse your body for a long period of time, then all of a sudden you say, you know, I'm going to go do age reversal. No, if you have high blood pressure, you have, diabetes or anything like that, you need to get that in line before you can try to go down the age reversal, try to reverse your age. Oh yeah, and I also quit drinking. I quit alcohol. That's like I didn't think I could ever quit alcohol. I just felt like it was part of my life for so long. So, oh yeah, because you know I was a Bacardi Limon girl. I launched Bacardi Limon. I launched Bacardi for it. That was my gig. By day, I was a makeup artist. By night, I was a Bacardi Limon girl in the '90s. So, so I did tell you guys I like to have a lot of jobs. So, yeah. So you know, I quit drinking about. I did my first infusion in NAD in 2016 and have not touched alcohol. Well, I went before that. I was doing the challenges, 30 minutes, no alcohol, but I haven't touched alcohol for now almost 6 years, you know, because it was the best effect. And then having a clean brain, it's such a high, dude. I have to say, dude, because it's such a high. It's such a high to be clean. So I wanted to share with that because I feel like when people, alcohol was a way of life for me. I wasn't like a drunk or anything like that. But you know, Moet was my thing. I love drinking Moet. My girlfriend, I don't know what it is with women. We get together and we just like the moment we start drinking, our voice changed. We're all, you know, it's like, and I think I just am addicted to the lifestyle. We're hanging out with my girlfriends and just talking about each other's projects and I've teased Brent. I'm like, yeah, my group of girlfriends down here, we're like the Real Housewife of Boca. Think of that. And we have parties like Real Housewife of Boca. We have each party we all try outdo each other. My party is I'm a geek, so my party is my superhero party, and I have a whole green screen, and we take pictures and videos and drink a lot of champagne, and it's just that was my lifestyle. But then when I stopped drinking, I stopped having my parties, and I'm okay with it because I experienced it. I've done it all already, so.
And Tonya knows that I support her in every space that she's in, and even in church.
Yes, he goes to my church. He listens to all the researchers, the lecture. We meet once a month. The last Thursday of every month, we always have an incredible speaker. I think we've been trying to get David Sinclair and George Church to come speak, because that's where our longevity. We have all different type of scientists, leaders that come in and share their thoughts, and talk about some of the latest research, and good, bad, ugly, all that good stuff. We talk about everything. And one thing we're a church we're transhumanists. So we believe in technology and health, and we believe technology will help you live longer.
So where can people find you, and where can people find information about the church and the various projects that you work on, Tonya?
Well, if you follow me, my company is called No Aging, KNOWAGING. If you Google that, you'll see all of me everywhere. I started doing that when the moment that I started my company. Social Chats is really Social Chats. It's only Social Chats SF here because someone, I think I was talking about it. Someone took Social Chats and they never really did anything. There's a Twitter can't handle. I'm gonna have to talk to Twitter about it. But if you look Social Chats, we're everywhere. We've been streaming for so long. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/social
And
chats.
if you want to be empowered on Monday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern, join Tonya in Twitter Spaces as she uh, uh, does an Empower Monday space for the Association Women in Communication South Florida chapter. It's a great space.
Yeah, we want to start doing more talking about because we usually host it every quarter. I do this called Empower Yourself workshop. It's more like a luncheon. We all the women get together. I pick 8 different women from all different parts, all different ages, everything, but they all have a story how they empower themselves, where they went, where they became. Like one person was like, I was a drug addict and I lost everything, but then she learned coding, medical coding. She went on to do great things. She cleaned up. Like, so stories like that. And I tell about my story. And once you hear other people's story about the good, the bad, and the ugly, you feel empowered by hearing it. You want to share your story. And so because we haven't met yet, we just decided as the board, we voted on this to do an Empower Yourself Monday. So Debbie Ellickson was our guest today. She's down in the audience here. And so we invite a woman to come up and talk about their story and what changed, what has happened, where they see themselves, those kind of things. And if anyone out there, if you know a woman that you want to come tell their story, because the more stories we collect, and we're going to publish this, we're going to share this out. I'm also working with my national. So we're going to be doing some really fun stuff with spaces. I'm going to be running some spaces for my national, which is AWC Connects. That's the National Women in Communication. And I'm excited bringing them into Web3 and getting more women into Twitter spaces. And I believe in Twitter spaces. I really love the platform, the social audio, the community. I have Twitter Blue, not because I want more or anything like that. I want to support Twitter, and I really believe in the team. And I adore Reggie. Reggie's so awesome. So I think that's the key. When we all work together as a community, we uplift each other and we talk to each other.
And I also know that if you need a co-host to do your very first space, Tonya will be there to support you.
Yeah, I'm like the welcoming community. I go from space to space actually to look for new people who've never done a space so that I can just jump in and teach them real quick. And then I leave. It's like I go in like a lion. And then when I'm done, I'm like, I'm out of here. So But yeah, if you guys come across anyone that's never done a space and they're scared, especially if they're a woman, tell them to reach out to me. I'll be happy if my schedule fit. I would definitely do a space, and I'll run analytics and everything. So
Thank you for helping me launch my new show, Tonya, and having you as my first guest.
thank you for having me here. Did anyone have asked any question? I think I told you my whole life story. I'm gonna get this transcribed and have it published into a book, because Debbie, after my conversation with Debbie this morning, it was like she's a book publisher. I feel like I can take a space and cut it up and make it into a little short ebook. And also, if you're a nonprofit, and I have a press room, so it's very well trusted with through the search engine, because I publish it from everywhere. So if you need help, publish a press release or announce your project or events, just reach out to me. I don't charge for this kind of stuff, because I feel like if I can help someone get their brand out there, and then sometimes I'm like, I might just sometimes I just spend a little bit more money on my end just to like put it through the wire for them, because I want them to be empowered, and I have a list of people that I'm so proud of them every day. I don't go to them and say, oh, remember when I helped you? No, I go to them and more like, I'm so proud of you, because when you empower people, their success is your success. I'm telling you, everybody start practicing. Your success is my success. If people start practicing that mentality and just helping people without expecting nothing back, you see great things, everything that you feel is wrong in your life, you'll have clarity, because when you help other people, great things happen for you. It's just part of karma. So it's 8:04, Brent. If anyone doesn't have any question, I think I talked really fast, and I'm sitting in my studio, and I just turned on all the lights, and it's like really bright in here. But I appreciate everyone for stopping by to listen to my story. And the last remark I always tell everybody: just get out of your way. Get out of your way. I'm telling you, we are our own downfall. We create our own problem. Never blame other people for your problems. As far as oh, I didn't get this because that person did this. No, we have to learn to get out of our way, follow the process. Always remember, help others without expecting nothing back, because their success would be your success, and it will be the stories that you can share with others, and it works so well. I've done it, I proved it, and I believe in it. And that's why when I say I want to empower people, because the more successful people are that I surround myself with, the higher we go together, and they help other people. Like I tell people, I help you, but I don't expect nothing from you. I just want you to go help other people. So that's what I told you, Brent. Remember?
Yes, that's what you told me, and it helped me amazingly.
My Sunday co-host is here, Carlos. He's from Venezuela. He's the one that I do the NFTs for a cause. We have such a blast together, and I think I don't know if it's having.
And
Oh, there he
your
is.
Twitter Spaces guest from this morning is also here too.
Yes, Debbie's here. My friend Rivers is here, whose music I always play because I love his music. Hey, Carlos. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Did you want to ask me a question? Because I'm really being interviewed, and I'm trying not to take over. So,
Tonya, okay. How do you juggle everything that you do? How the hell are you on Twitter Spaces all day and still get work done?
I am the multitask queen. You know what size hat I wear? I wear an extra large men's hat. So I have a big brain. That's what Dr. Klatz told me, from the co-founder of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. He's like, you have a big brain. That's why you can do what you're doing. I'm like, yeah. And also, I quit drinking. I have a clean brain, so I wake up in the morning, I feel great.
Are you trying to rub it in because Super Bowl's coming up and I'm going to be getting, having a few beers?
You can have beer of Super Bowl. I mean, that's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, ever since that I quit, I'm quitting sugar. I'm doing this whole thing, and I see my mom. I have a mother who is still, she's 15, 16 years multiple myeloma survivor. That's the longest they've ever seen someone survive that long, and she still walks and stretches and eats and exercise, and sometimes her numbers go up. She told the doctors, like, do you want to go and come back for therapy? She's like, no. And so my mom, I look at my mom, and if she can do it, I can do it.
Debbie,
So yeah, that's how.
if you excuse me for a moment, Brent, good night. Great to be here. And Tonya, a long time no see since yesterday. But listen, Debbie, uh, I know the secret of Tonya, and I am always telling her out and telling the truth. And I will explain to you, Debbie. Your days have 24 hours, right? Uh, Brent's day and mine days also have 24 hours. I discovered a secret. Tonya's days have 36 hours. That's the reason. And that theory,
Sure.
that conspiration theory runs along with another one that she has triplet. I mean, she belongs to a triplet uh, trio of girls identical. So they are spread all over the spaces, and they have 36 hours each. So imagine she can do this. They can do disaster of being present.
And and one day Tanya found out she could be in two spaces at the same time.
Exactly. They have to be very well coordinated because one day they can be discovered like Clark Kent being Superman. It's like, oh, look at this. She's live in two different. They were triplets. Carlos was right.
Did you know that Diacon gave me the ability to run analytics because they realized all I do is run around, help people with their analytics and give them the data and the listener list. So now I can like run analytics on 2 or 3 spaces, or I can do Spotify, Clubhouse, and spaces at the same time, and I'm paying the same amount of money that I paid. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. Thank you. They gave me that after our event, Carlos. That's how it all started. I used Diacon, the software, and they're starting another product, and they asked Carlos and I to do a space featuring young spoiled apes project. So that's how Carlos and I got together, and and the funny thing is, when I got on space, Carlos and I have been trying to get together to do a space together. It took us a whole year, Carlos, to finally get together and do a space, and now we have one every Sunday, no matter what. And we just finished our 5th one.
Oh, sorry.
Debbie,
My mic was off. Sorry. I know. I'm very happy with that. Yes, actually, it was our fifth week, and I'm telling you something that really impressive. What you were saying about helping others. I mean, I think that's the original therapy. I mean, I think that when you are there is something that Eckhart Tolle says in one of his books, The Power of Now, and it's a very easy guide to know if you have your brain correctly focused. If you are depressed, you are not living in the present, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are not living in the present, you are living in the future. So the only way to know if you are living in the present, if you feel at peace with yourself, if you feel just like a slight happiness or just contentment, just like that's the only thing you have to do. Be present, live just for today. It's so easy to say, but so difficult to do because as long as this space ends, you will be worrying, oh my goodness, it's 3 weeks away from my trip. Or so, okay, you have to prepare your trip, but don't cross the bridges before they arrive, please. And don't think and don't cry over the milk that was in the floor. I mean, that's lost. So try to concentrate in the present and helping others. I wanted to tell something because it was wonderful. I today had a reencounter this morning with a woman. She's very old now, but this story is just incredible, and will tell it, has it happened? If you allow me. There was a contest for a logo for a new company, and the advertising agency did publish the address and the conditions. I did my logo for that, for being just like trying to participate, because the prize, the award for the winner logo was quite a lot of money in that moment. I'm talking something like about 35 years ago. Okay, I fall asleep. I didn't wake up on time. They were very specific in the advertising, saying that we will receive the logos, of course, personally, not even dream of email or anything like this. And so you have to go personally to everywhere all the time. And it was between 10 and 12 at noon. Well, it was totally late. It was just like 11 something, 11:10 or something like that. And I said, oh, it was far away from my house. I said, well, I'm going to try to give it a shot. Even if I arrive after noon, after noontime, I will ask them to receive it. Well, there was a lot of giant traffic jam to get out of here close to the house. So it was later, still later. And then I was in the highway. It was almost, yeah, like 5 minutes to, and I saw a woman in the I don't always how do you call the emergency channel? I mean, the emergency lane in the right side for in a highway. I always keep forgetting that name. Well, there was a woman. She was in a Malibu, accidented in a Chevrolet Malibu, and she looked a little bit like my mom. And I said, okay, I'm gonna say she was stranded. She was accidented, and I stopped my car. I got into the shoulder of the shoulder, I guess is the name, and stopped and did park in front of her. That was 30 years ago, so Caracas was safer. I live in Caracas, Venezuela, and I did help her because it was a problem with the battery. We did a very dangerous maneuver. I had to move my car to put it in the right position to be to be able to jump start her car. Okay, and oh wow, thank you very much. Okay, and I will leave, and I did leave. I decided I left home without eating my breakfast. Yeah, it was too late. So I went to a bakery and I had it was my call. I did buy the newspaper, I did read, and I did arrive at the advertising agency at 2:30. Well, when I get in, I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry because it's late." And he said, "Oh, no problem because the person who was going to receive the logos arrived late too." And you won't believe, and I swear to God, this happened when when they told me, okay, you can go in. The person is waiting for you. Who was the person? The woman I was helping in the highway. We said, just like a soap opera at the same time, we said, no, no, this cannot be possible, Mimi. We were going to the same place. I mean, tell me, it has to be the hand of God or the hand of the maximum power in the universe to make something. What are the actual possibilities of that happening really? Well, of course, she, in instant gratitude, she decided that she was going to give the award to me, and I said, no, 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 that's not honest. Let's Everybody is making just like sending the two envelopes, one with your nickname and the other with your real data and the actual work. So uh, I said to her, okay, the only gratitude I will accept is that let me be a judge and let's open in your company all the submissions, and then if I see, I will tell you honestly, if I see that my logo is the best one, I do accept it. And we started opening envelopes, and I was feeling like the big winner, just like Tom Hanks with two Oscars. Oh, there was crummy, horrible. And then we opened another envelope. It looked like drawing of 3 years old. It was, and suddenly, oh my goodness, something designed by Salvador Dali with Picasso with with Walt Disney. What a wonderful logo. And I said to her, oh, no, forget it. I mean, I bet you we don't even need to see the rest, but we saw the rest. And effectively, that wonderful logo, just like a giant building with the name of the company, it was so intelligent, the design. And I said, this is the winner. So she couldn't believe I was refusing the award. And I said, no, let's make things right always. I mean, because I was doing something good that was helping you in the highway, but this will be bad against this person because obviously his logo is like 300 times better than mine. But what happened? We became friends. She got my number, and I did work a lot of times for the agency, and I did a lot of money, like much more times that what I was about to win with the logo. And you know what? I didn't knew anything about her for more than 15 years when she left for Spain, and we talk again this morning. So that's what I'm telling the story because I have told him the story today. Like this is the seventh time because I had forgotten that. Really, I mean, and that really happened. So she was just like, oh, I have spent the last 15 years telling the story every time I remember, and it was incredible. She's in Bogota right now. She's trying to get into Venezuela, but she has problems with the papers, and well, it was just great. And we will be in contact with email and stuff. But see the magic of doing good to others. I mean, I was thinking, and it was just like the glimpse that said, oh, could be my mom. I would wish that my mom was driving and got stranded and accidented. I mean, I would love someone to do the same I'm going to do for this woman now. And it actually worked wonders. I think it's the biggest surprise in my life. I just cannot believe it. I was looking around, just like, are we being set up? Maybe this is candid camera, and they are doing this thing on purpose. I mean, I couldn't find a normal and scientific explanation for such a gigantic coincidence. So, Debbie, I hope that you will help us spread Tonya's secret. 36 hours days and two siblings, okay, identical to her, okay. So please help.
Nothing is a coincidence, Carlos.
Yeah, it's impossible to be a coincidence. Yeah, that's impossible. That was absolutely incredible.
And the only reason you guys think I could do so much is because I built a system. So I have a system that I have everything all set up. So when I do a space, I stream it, I record it, I have all kind of stuff. And then I have my clients, they pretty much, and I'm blessed to have different things going on, but everything I have is already system. Once I publish, it goes out to everywhere. So people think I never sleep, but I do. I got to have 6 or 8 hours sleep. And I have 4 dogs that I have to feed and take care of too. So yeah, but even if I'm on space,
Four, not only 4 dogs, you have a husband.
Yes, who is very supportive, who is very empowering. I was, he was raised, he was raised in a different, because he's Jewish, and his family actually was very, at one time they were very kosher, but and it was kind of weird because I knew more about Judaism than he does sometimes, but he went to a Hebrew school and he speaks perfect Hebrew. But I think I was Jewish in my previous life. I just when I moved to Boca, I felt like I was in my mother, I was like, I'm home. I was in Boca. I mean, like, and everyone I knew, and everything I did, it was just so, I loved being where I was. So, but then, I have friends from all different part of the world, but, when you have a good support system at home that believes in you and empowers you, it gives you the opportunity to empower other people. Actually, he's been trying to come in here and give me pizza that he made for me because he's into making his own pizza. And I was like, shh, get out of here. I'm not done yet. So he's been walking through here like 3 or 4 times already, trying to give me pizza.
That's great. Bunsen is here. I haven't seen him before. Bunsen, welcome.
Jason.
the doggies scientist.
Oh, he
That
has the best face.
yeah, that idea is wonderful. I mean, and to see the dogs with the doctor robes is wonderful too. I adore that.
I also want to
It's
say hi
one.
to Caleb, who is my new friend. Caleb's down here with the he has that strawberry or the heart. Caleb, this is horrible. I don't realize you're there. Oh, it's a heart. He's doing NFT with his daughter. So they're doing a project together, which is great. I think that's fantastic too. That's why I love spaces. You get to meet incredible people, and you get to hear their story and the ups and their downs, and and then actually, and as time goes by, I mean, it's been like almost a year now on space. It's like I swear, it
Wow.
seems like
You,
yesterday.
I have a question for Brent. Can I ask you a question, Brent? I know you are the one.
Yes.
Well, the question is related, of course, to your new space of inspirational interviews. And my curiosity is, I don't know, probably you have already your second guest for your episode 2 already set. But just in hypothesis, if you could have any person and you haven't decided yet for the next episode, who will you choose and why? Who will you choose
Hmm.
and why to be your second guest for the interview among Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates? What will be your choice among those three, and why? Difficult
Hmm.
question.
Hmm. Bill Gates, because technology has changed so much since the computer has been invented.
Okay, that's a wise decision. I think that Bill Gates is just like a rock for technology. Had a very consistent career, and the Microsoft story is astounding, and it changed the world, obviously, along with at the same time with the Apple phenomenon. Uh, but I think that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk belong more. I mean, I think that Bill Gates belongs more to Scientific American, the magazine, and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos belong more to Entertainment Weekly, kind of just like more show business stars. I mean, they are doing their thing, but they are more showing off somehow. Or even when Jeff Bezos likes to play just like the shy person and star, but they both like. And Bill Gates, he has been always a serious lecturer, or when he has been in public, he has been always been the same for 30 years, more 40 years now. Yeah, so a good selection. And the second question is, what will be the first question you will make him to Bill Gates?
Hmm.
So,
No,
yeah.
sure.
Okay, imagine I am Bill Gates and Tonya is Melinda Gates. We are here representing the foundation, Melinda and Bill Gates
I
Foundation.
don't know if that's a good idea or not, because I don't think they like being in the same room with each other at the moment.
No, I know. Yes,
But
they're
it's 8:26 though. I want to be mindful, and because my hubby's he made dinner, and he's like trying to feed me. Uh, but so let's finish that question, Brett, and let's close out the space because I have to go eat dinner.
exactly. Yeah, it will be a nice. It's like it's 9:30 here. It's like 8:30 over there, I guess. So it's a good time to close it. So Brent, try to think. One question for Bill Gates. What will be your first question?
Hmm. The first question would be if if he envisioned that Web 3 would exist.
Oh wow, wow! That's the golden question. That's perfect, man. Congratulations. I mean that's a really good question. Of course. And before you close or wrap up this, I did remember that when they redesigned Windows with Windows 95, they created the Start button. And I had the chance to listen to an interview with Alvin Toffler. You remember the book, The Future Shock and the Third Wave? These wonderful futurist books. He was just like a, how do you call this? He was a futurologist, talking about the future and predicting social trends. And he had a meeting with Bill Gates because Bill Gates wanted to show him the new design of Windows. And he asked, "What do you think?" And the answer of Mr. Alvin Toffler said, "Well, Bill, I don't want to disappoint you and make you feel bad, but every device in my house has a simple button, just like an on off. If I want to turn it on, I turn it on. If I want to turn it off, I turn it off, and it's very easy. So I don't have too much confidence, I must confess, to believe in your device." And Bill Gates asking why? Because it doesn't make sense to me that for shutting off the computer, I have to press a start button. Because actually you have to press the start button to get to the turning off button. So it said that, oh my goodness, I never saw it like that. So Alvin Toffler was such a genius, such a brilliant visionary. So he detected that actually Windows is the only thing in the world that works, that when you are going to turn it off, you have to press a button that says start. That's totally weird. That's just like a oxymoron inside the same machine. That I wanted just to share that. And now you have a minute to wrap it up. And you, Tonya. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate you. And thank you, Debbie, for joining in. And I hope I answered your question. I have a system set up already. That's how, as far as distribute information, and also like for me to do different things. It's when you know what they say, when it's like riding a bike. When you do something all the time, you get faster and quicker.
36 hours. 36 hours. That's the truth.
Oh my
36 hours days. Don't believe her. She's lying. Goodbye, Brent. Thank you for receiving me. Bye-bye.
This has been Inspirational Interviews, Episode 1, Tonya Scholz.
Thank you, everyone.
Episode 2 will be Wednesday with Dr. M.
Perfect. We will be there, God willing. Congratulations on your first space. Congratulations to you, Tonya.
Tonya.
And
well done, Brent. Well done.
Well done.